Morning children. For today practical for 12th standard we are going to study about the flower, and you know that there are in the reduced syllabus there are two families which you have to study, mainly the family of Malvaceae and Solanaceae. Now today we start with the study of the family Malvaceae, and you know that the flower, the typical flower under Malvaceae is like, say for example, the Hibiscus rosa sinensis, and there are many other flowers like cotton flower also comes under this, but the most easily available flower which we are going to study is about Hibiscus rosa sinensis. And you know that this flower, it occurs as an inflorescence. You can see the flower, I am showing you the flower here. So this is a flower which you see, that is a single solitary axillary flower. That means you don't find this in the terminal region, but you find in the axillary region. So and it occurs alone, so that's why we call it solitary. The inflorescence is a solitary axillary. Then the flower is ebracteate. Ebracteate means, you know, the presence of the bracts are present, and you can see the pedicel. This is the stalk or the pedicel. So if the flower possesses a pedicel, we call it pedicellate flower. If we don't have the pedicel, then we call it a sessile flower. So this is a pedicellate flower. Then hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite because the male, and you can see that this is the stamen which is covers that deep scarlet color stigma and the style. So the male and the female what do you call this reproductive organ remains in the same flower, so it is hermaphrodite. Then we say actinomorphic. If you see the flower, it has a from all the radius you can see that you can cut into two symmetrical figures, so that's called actinomorphic. If there is one line of symmetry, we call it zygomorphic, and if there are many lines of symmetry, we call it actinomorphic. Then hypogynous, this means the all other holes of the flower, that means calyx, corolla and androecium, they are below the gynoecium or the ovary. Then we call it hypogynous. This we can see when you open the flower or when we dissect the flower. And it is red in color, you have already seen. Now the variations are there, but the native one is red in color and it is large and showy. Now next is we are going to study about the epicalyx. You can see the epicalyx, their number is 5 to 8. So you can see here at the bottom, I am showing with my fingers here, you can see these are the epicalyx. Okay, these are about number 5 to 8, it is not fixed. Like here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. Okay, these 6 epicalyx are there. Then just above the epicalyx you can see the green color calyx is there, and the calyx is gamosepalous and valvate estivation. Valvate, I will tell you that the valvate means the arrangement of these stamens are, you know, always end-to-end connections are there, which we will see when we study about the floral diagram. So you can see all this. You can see here the calyx are joined, you know, very closely joined. So we call it a gamosepalous, and there are 5 in numbers, 5 sepals in number. Then corolla is 5 and polypetalous. Okay, the corolla is polypetalous. You can see these are the corolla, the petals, and they are 5 in numbers, 5 red color, and all are free. If the petals are free, we call it polypetalous. Now we go to the study the androecium. Androecium is monodelphous and reniform anthers, dorsifixed and extrors. Now this you have to see microscopically under the dissecting microscope. You can see the staminal tube, you know, they form a single staminal tube, and when there is a single staminal tube which encircles the calyx, and you can see the anthers here at the tip. Okay, the anthers are here at the tip, and this is the staminal tube, and so if it is a single staminal tube, we call it a monodelphous stamen. And reniform means you have to see under microscope. If you see the anther lobes, they are like kidney shape. You know, renal, this word comes from the word renal, so kidney shape. Dorsifixed, you know, the filament is attached to the dorsal side of the anther, and extrors is it opens from the outer side when that anther lobe bursts, releasing the pollen grain. If it is from the outside, we call it extrors. Gynoecium is pentacarpellary. There are 5 carpels, and syncarpus means the wall of the carpels are joined. Apocarpus means free, syncarpus means joined. Pentacarpellary means there are 5 chambers of the carpel. Now we study about the floral diagram. Okay, we'll study about the floral diagram, you can, or the floral formula first. So here we come. When we write the floral formula, if it is ebracteate means bracts are absent, so EBR. This is the sign of actinomorphic. Okay, I'll show you parallelly what would be the sign if it would be, suppose if it is bracteate, then it will be BR. Okay, but since it doesn't have the bract, it is EBR. Okay, then here this is the actinomorphic. This flower is actinomorphic, that means it is radially symmetrical from all sides. If it would be zygomorphic, then there will be a single line. Okay, or there is a percentage sign like this. This is also zygomorphic, this is also zygomorphic. So this is for like pea flower, you have a zygomorphic, one line of symmetry. This is a flower which is hermaphrodite. You know, this is the sign for the male and this is the sign for the female. Together they are present, so it is hermaphrodite. But if it would have been, suppose, a staminate flower, then the sign would be like this, only this. If it would have been a pistillate flower, then the sign would be like this. So next is the epicalyx, which I showed. It is 5 to 7 or 8. Here it was 6, so epicalyx is EPI, that is the symbol, and it is 5 to 7. Then K is calyx. K is 5. If they are free, means if they are polypetalous, then this bracket sign would not be there. Since this is gamopetalous, they are united, it will be, this bracket sign would be there. We represent it by K as because C also stands for corolla. You can see here the corolla. The corolla is polypetalous, so they are 5. And you know, the calyx and the corolla joined together. If they are joined together like this, we give a sign of connection. Then androeciums are many in number, that's why we say this infinity sign, and they are monodelphous, that's why it is in bracket. If they are free anthers, then this bracket would not have been there. Okay, and the numbers, suppose if it is a specified number 9 or 10, then we would put the number here, but since they are innumerable, we put the infinity sign. Then gynoecium is 5, and you can see 5 carpels are there, pentacarpellary, so 5, and they are united syncarpus, so they are within this. And we put a dash sign below, and as because this is the hypogynous ovaries there. If it is hypogynous, that means all the other floral parts are above the gynoecium. We put this sign here. So this is all about the family, and now you can see the floral formula here, and this is the actual flower. You see here, you can see here the outline also you have to draw. You know, this is the typical flower. Suppose you have to draw this, so you have to draw this particular flower. If you have to draw a longitudinal section, then you cut vertically and see. Sometimes you are asked to draw this. Suppose only the style and the stigma, okay, style and the androecium and the gynoecium, you have to draw this. See, this is the stamen, the anthers are in form of kidney, that's why reniform. This is the calyx and the epicalyx. You can see here, the calyx is joined, epicalyx is free. This is also the ovary along with the style and the stigma that you have to dissect and find out. Now, this is the structure of the floral diagram. You have to know the floral diagram and the floral formula exactly. So you can see here, all are end to end. This is showing your epicalyx. Then you are seeing it is the calyx. They are joined. If they are joined, you are joined with the arc. Then here you can see this is the arrangement of the petals, and the petals here are joined to the ovary here, and the anthers are given, huge numbers are there, and here you can see the placentation is there in the TS of the ovary. This is an axile placentation. You can see the carpels, there are 5 carpels or 5 chambers, and in the middle you can see also the presence of the ovules are there. Sometimes you are asked to draw the TS of the ovary, or floral formula is very common. Floral diagram, floral formula I have showed you. Sometimes you have to draw this, and you have to draw sometimes the tip of the anther. This you have to see under the dissecting microscope. So this is the dissecting microscope. You can see and put it on the stage, on the slide, and you can see with this. And you have this compound microscope. If you have to see the anther lobes, you can see with the compound microscope. Then you display it on this dish. Sometimes you have to be dissect these whole floral parts into the petals or into the sepals, and you have to display this and write here with dot pen all the different floral parts. This is all about the Malvaceae family. You have to know at least two economic uses of this Malvaceae family. The two economic uses of this family are, like, say for example, we get cotton, red silk cotton, and also you can write about there are this hibiscus, which is an ornamental flower, and also you can write about, say, different types of fibrous obtained from this Malvaceae family. So you have to know any two economic importance of this family. Thank you very much, and then we go to the next video of the Papilionaceae family.